Hello and welcome to my presentation. This presentation is for the assignment of news to look at biases in the news. We had to look up a subject and see how the biases is put in the text. I want to do it on the death penalty in Colorado. Because not most people don't know, but America is still one of the last Western countries who has the death sentence put in place. But because the states all have their own governance, it's different. So on the 23rd of March 2020, Jared Polish abolished the death sentence in Colorado and became the number 22 to do so. Besides abolishing the death sentence, he also commutated 3 inmates who were on death row. The reason for this was normally commutations only happens when there's something new in the case, new evidence or anything. But he believed that these 3 people didn't need to be on death row anymore, because it was fair for, in his opinion, with the abolishment of the death sentence. There's still one person who still is on death row. When I look at the articles, I looked at the biases of it, how they put the articles in the text, and the goal they want to reach with the article. I looked at three different news sources. The first one was the Huffington Post. This one is a far left news outlet. The second one was the Denver Post. It's a left-center news outlet. And the last one is the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is a right-wing news source. The methodology I used was I made use of web research. I looked up a lot of articles, put them in a list, and see which one I thought were the best for this. To look at the best, I wanted one who was really on the side with Jared Polish against the abolishment and didn't give any information about people who were against it. I would have those people their own article who were just really against the abolishments and the commutations and only focus on that part. And I wanted one who was impartial in the middle, who just wanted to get the information across to the readers. The first one I looked at was the Huffington Post, the far left. It is a small article and it only focuses on why it is a good thing, the abolishment. Half of the post is just quotes and opinions of people who were on Polish's side and not anyone who was against it, and it doesn't even talk about the commutations. I'm sorry. The reason I think the commutations are really important because what I noticed from all the articles was most articles who were against Polish was not really against the abolishment of death sentence, but the commutations, because Jared Polish, the governor, he decided on his own to commutate these inmates and did not do it with the help of any institution. Some even said with a stroke of a pen he just cut them their lives, honestly. But yeah, the Huffington Post doesn't talk about it. There's one really important person who was really upfront on the movement against Jared Polish and the commutations. It's the state senator. She was a mom of one of the victims of one of the 3 people who were in death row, killed her son. And it doesn't even talk about her. So this is why I think the goal of the Huffington Post is just to make it look like the abolishment is just perfect. There's nothing wrong with it, and Jared Polish did everything right. The second article I want to look at is from the Denver Post. The Denver Post is, in my opinion, a good news source if I look at this article, because it starts just with facts and backgrounds of the death sentence in Colorado, but also in the whole of the US. After giving the information, then it starts with opinions. The first one is of the people in favor. It talks about Jared himself and multiple people who were on his side. There's even one quote, they use a lot of quotes of the Denver Post, and one quote of the people were in favor where the death sentence was a cruel and unusual punishment. And I think it's important to have those sides. The second second opinions are for the people who were against police. It is a little bit divided in two. The first one is from a group who are against the abolishment itself, which most outlet sources don't really address. They talk, the people against it, they talk about how it is lower, the risk for criminals is now lower because they can just go on a mass murder spree and they won't only get lifelong, they won't lose their life anymore. And I think this is really ballsy to say. The second part of the people against it are against the commutations, because they just, as I said before, there are a lot of important people who are really against it, and it didn't go fair in their opinion. So, some people even went that far to say that the governor used the coronavirus because he just said this, and because of the coronavirus there couldn't be a press conference, and he could just sweep it under the rug. Because of the layout of the article, starting with just facts, then the opinions of the people in favor, and then against, I think this article is the most impartial. I know the people who were in favor got first, but for the to have a flow through the story, this is necessary, in my opinion. And I think the goal of the Denver Post is just to get the information across, and then let the people decide on themselves on which side they are on the matter. The last article I looked at was from the Daily Mail. To be honest, I have to say this, it is a horrible site. It's full with pop-ups and advertisements, and if you look closely to it, if you scroll, 1/3 is the article and 2/3 are just filler. Yeah, it's horrible, but that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at biases and the goals. And the biases, it has a really good start. It makes me really easy for this assignment. It starts with 4 points, and 3 of those are against the commutations. The text goes further from here. It focuses on around the 4 points it looked, so 3/4 of the article is just against it. There's a lot of opinions and information from people who are against the commutations, and it does not give any room for the people who are approved it. One thing, the information is at the end. So in my opinion, the goal with the layout of the article is opinion first, so the people the readers would know how to think about it, and then the information comes, so they know at what side the readers had to look to be on their side, on the Daily Mail side. What I also found interesting is I didn't see this that much at all in other articles. It really focused with people quotes on the political party they were a part of. For example, if they talk about the abolishment, they say like Jared Polis is a Democrat, and later his democratic governance of the Colorado at this moment. And because most quotes are from people who are against it, they talk about them like the name of the people and then Republican. I didn't think, I didn't see this, as I said, at other articles this much. I think they do this because, as I said in the beginning, the Daily Mail is a far right-wing news article. So people who read it are already on the right wing, and because they put the people who the quotes to Democrats and Republicans, the people who think they are Republicans already agree more with people who are also Republicans. This is why I think the goal of this article, due to the layout of public opinions first, information second, and the focus on political sides, I think the goal is to sway the opinion of the reader towards their opinion against the commutation. As a conclusion, I just what I learned about this, it doesn't matter left wing, right wing, of which country, because Huffington Post and Denver Post are American and the Daily Mail is British. It doesn't matter. Most news sources just put their bias in it. So I think it's important to look at news from different angles, different sources, and even different countries, because some countries just look at things different because of their culture. And I think it's the most important to find news sources who are just impartial and, like the Denver Post on this subject at least, who just want to get information across to their readers. I hope it was a little bit informational for you, and thank you.